Hi everyone, I'm Nadia, and in today's video my mom is making a beautiful set of pink webbed resin coasters. She's using craft resin, and because it's a 1-to-1 ratio by volume, she uses a measuring cup to measure out equal parts of the A and B. We always achieve beautiful results with craft resin, and I'll have a discount code in my description if you'd like to give them a try. Then she mixes the two parts together well for around 5 minutes. You should mix until you no longer see any streaks in your resin. Then she separates it into smaller cups to add in her pigments. And she sets aside some clear resin as well because she'll be using that in her pour. The first pigment she's using is an alcohol ink in the shade Bordeaux. She adds a few drops of that into her cup of resin and also adds in 1 drop of an alcohol ink in the shade Coffee. Next, she's using Just Resin's pigment paste in the shade Titanium White, and she mixes the pigment paste in the container first before adding a small amount into her cup of resin. And in that same cup, she adds in Just Resin's pigment paste in the shade Parchment. I'll also have a discount code for Just Resin in my description if you're interested in checking them out. And lastly, she uses Craft Resin's mica powder in the shade Rouge. She makes sure that the pigments are mixed in well into the resin. Air bubbles will tend to rise to the top of the cup, so she uses a torch gun to get rid of any of those air bubbles before she starts her pour. And she's also making sure that her molds are clean. Now she's ready to pour. She starts off by taking her Bordeaux pigmented resin and pouring that along the edge of the mold. And she pours her clear resin right along that. She circles around the mold with her mixture of white and parchment resin. And then takes her clear resin again and pours that directly into the center. Then she takes her rouge pigmented resin and again circles around the mold several times. She repeats that same process on her remaining molds. As time goes by, the pigmented resins start to pull into the center. She uses a torch gun to pop any air bubbles, and always be careful to move your torch gun quickly so you don't burn your resin or your silicone molds. Now she's pouring a small amount of clear resin into a cup to add in what will be her center detail. She pours in these gold tinted glass pieces. And with a wooden stick, she carefully applies it into the center of the molds. Sometimes the pigmented resin won't pull in fully into the center, and you could be left with a small amount of clear resin. So to prevent that from happening, she takes her wooden stick to help the pigmented resin reach the very center so that there's no clear areas. She allows that to harden and comes back the next day to demold. Now she's going to be preparing the coasters for a top coat, and to do this, the first thing she's doing is flipping the coasters onto the back side and applying liquid latex. The liquid latex will prevent this back side from any drops of resin that flow over while doing the top coat, and will easily come off with the latex the next day. Doing your top coat out of the mold makes your coasters nice and domed. She uses a silicone stick to help spread the liquid latex to the very edge of the coasters. Once the liquid latex has dried, she props her coasters up onto cups and can start doing her top coat. Craft resin is a great resin to do your top coat with because it's heat and scratch resistant, and it also always has a nice and shiny finish. Here she is the next day removing the liquid latex. Now she's going to be applying her gold trim, and for this she's using liquid metal. She uses an eyeshadow brush for easy application. I'll have all the products that you see in this video listed in my description, so be sure to check that out. And here's the final product. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. Follow me on my Instagram, Summer Girl Designs, and my mom's Instagram, Wild Heart Resin Art.